Nice jacket. Where's it from?
Thanks, David Jones.
No, where's it from?
Oh, where's it made? Made in China. Yeah.
Oh, did you get a new phone?
I did, actually.
Where's it from?
Designed in California. Oh, no. Assembled in China. Yep. Hey, we road testing a car today?
Oh, MGHS.
Oh, right. Where's that from? Hello and welcome to another episode of... Actually, Dan, we don't even have a name yet, do we?
No, we don't. We never have. But should we? Do we?
I think we should try one, yeah. Maybe let's try a few on now.
All right, what about wheels chat?
No, I think that's lame.
Yeah, all right.
What about flat out?
Not always. What about flat chat?
Flat chat. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. But let's try it before we commit to it. And let us know in the comments below if it is a decent name or if we should banish it forever. But let's try it now. Hello and welcome to another episode of Flat Chat. I'm Alex.
And I'm Dan.
And today we are reviewing the MGHS, which is made in
China!
Of course it is.
Yes, isn't it weird, Alex? You know, 90% of all the merchandise that comes into Australia originated in China.
Is it 90%?
90%. I know that because I use something called the internet to look it up. Your electronics, clothes, furniture, most of it came from China. But when you start talking about cars made in China, then people look at you in a funny way.
Yeah, they look down their nose a little bit, don't they? Which is kind of why we're reviewing this car now, because Chinese product has made huge improvements. It's come on in leaps and bounds, and we want to know if this car is a worthy rival to things like the CX-5 and RAV4.
Would you believe it, Alex, if I told you you could have all of this for less than $30,000?
No, I would not, actually.
Right, well, you'd be absolutely right, because you can't. This is not the entry-level version. The range, the HS range, starts at $29,990.
Drive away.
But this is the range-topping, almost, Essence X.
Essence X.
If you did go for this version, it would cost you $42,990.
43 grand?
Yes, which is not really cheap anymore, is it?
That's actually getting very pricey, especially when you consider the rivals it's going up against, like a Tucson, RAV4, CX-5, even a Subaru Forester.
Yes, there are plenty of rivals for the MGHS, and they will give you a lot of standard equipment for the money, but that's what this car does particularly well. Loads of standard gear for your cash.
And lots of safety gear as well, really important. Across the entire range, you get lots of active safety gear and a 5-star NCAP rating.
And 7-year warranty.
That's great. And clearly, Aussies are lapping it up. MG sales are going through the roof.
Yes.
They're up like 400 and something % year on year.
That's mathematically impossible.
And it's all 3 of their models. They've all enjoyed 3-digit growth. So I think we should pull over to better understand exactly where the appeal lies. Okay, Dan, let's start with the exterior design, because how this car looks is very, very important, especially in this segment. And I reckon they've done all right.
Yeah, do you?
I do.
Well,
I would
look,
call it quietly handsome.
the kindest thing I can say about it is it's inoffensive. And I think it's exactly what a car like this needs to be able to do, not offend. And I think on that regard, it's perfect.
Oh, come on, you're being a bit harsh. I really like some of the design details. I like this grille. I like the way that it draws your eye to the MG badge. And I also like these LED headlights, although, to be fair, the execution does feel a little bit Audi 10 years ago with these single points of light rather than a continuous stream, but they're still cool. I like them.
What about this colour? It's called tartan red, and it's delicious. It just makes me want to touch it with my face.
Again, I don't agree with you on that one. To my eye, in some lights, it's almost pink.
Yes?
Well, one thing hopefully we can agree on is the wheel design. I think it's quite, again, understated, but quite a nice alloy.
Yeah, totally, actually. It looks really sophisticated, good quality. 18 inches on this particular variant.
Yep.
The proportions are great. I think it's doing a really good job there.
Yeah, everything we can see I kind of like. There's also one thing that we can't see just yet that I also like, which is the engine. If only there was some way we could pop the latch. Well, that's handy. There we go.
Look at that.
And under here you will find... 2 litres of turbocharged goodness that you can actually see. It's not hidden with heaps of plastic.
It's like automotive sculpture. Look at that huge turbo on the front as well there. There's not many engines you can open the bonnet and actually see the engine. It's all covered with plastic these days. This though, you can still, and I think it's a good thing.
And 2 litres, not 1.5 like the rest of the HS range. What are the outputs? Because they're very, very impressive.
168 kilowatts and 360 newton meters of torque.
It's going to be a barrel of laughs, I think, and we'll get to that a bit later when we go for a drive. But now let's go and have a look down the side of the car. The side of the car, Dan, is actually probably the least convincing to my eye, at least, because all I can see in that rear 3/4 haunch is Nissan Pathfinder.
Oh, totally. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
I know, but at least it majors on the practical stuff, because these doors, they open nice and wide. Although the door that you really want to open nice and wide, which is this rear one,
not so much.
Not so much. It's actually quite a narrow gap when you're trying to squeeze kids and stuff in there, which is a bit of a bummer.
Round to the rear end though.
Yes.
What's that badge for start?
It's a pilot badge, which is a bit of a weird inclusion because I think it's to do with the pilot safety system, but why does it need a badge? Because they all get it.
Electric tailgate, so you have to wait the standard 35 hours for it to finish opening. And
But
inside,
decent amount of space. 463 litres of the good stuff.
that's good, excellent. You can adjust the height to which that tailgate opens for shorter people.
Yeah.
There's a little hidey cubby sort of tray underneath there.
Yep, you can tuck away your goodies if you don't want people to see them there.
And underneath that, there's a space saver tyre.
The boot floor, though, is actually quite high, isn't it? It's a little bit shallow in there.
Yeah.
It's not quite as much space as you get in a RAV4, for example.
Standard blind there, which is soft action.
I like that. I also like the 60/40 split fold rear seat.
Oh,
Speaking of,
yes.
let's check out that rear seat.
Comfort in the back seats. First impressions, Alex, what do we think?
It's actually quite nice back here. Nice leather seat, lots of convenience features, but comfort-wise, I've got a few question marks. I think the cushion itself is very low set. So that means you're actually sitting in quite a knees-up position, and if you're in here for hours, I think it mightn't be that comfortable.
And not a problem for just tall people as well. I reckon that would affect everyone. What about the actual seat back itself then? Is that any better?
Well, this angle for the backrest is quite nice. However, should you feel so inclined, ooh, lazy boy comfort. Dan, wake up, come on.
All right, it's just so comfortable back. I nodded off for a second. It's lovely. You're not a big fan, are you?
No, this is a very uncomfortable angle for me. I combined with the low cushion and this backrest angle, I personally would have it back into its normal spot, but to make up for the lack of comfort, you do get lots of features. 2 cup holders
Ooh.
and a little pocket for goodies.
Velvety finish in there as well, nice quality.
Rear air vents, important for the kids, and also 2 USB ports to keep the kiddies entertained with iPads.
What do we think of these huge front seats though? Do they limit the forward view a little bit?
Absolutely, you can't see anything forward, which would, be a bit of a drag.
Unless you spy through the little harness slot here and then you can see what's going on. Can't you?
Yes, true. Low windowsills though, which I like, and it feels very airy in here thanks to the panoramic sunroof.
Yes, love that feature too. Tons of kit back here, but there's a heap more up front.
Let's check it out.
There's a dramatic improvement to comfort in the front row with these lovely sport seats, which are standard to the Essence X.
I really like these seats. Leather-like material, this Alcantara-like material too. They're very comfortable and supportive, although your seat has an unfortunate squeak. That would get very old very quickly, just as it is watching you gyrate your hips, so please stop doing that.
Right. But there's loads of space, isn't there? Look, big door pockets down here.
Yep, huge door pockets, so my oversized drink bottle fits in there very, very easily. Same goes for the central cup holders.
Got a big bin there to store things.
Although don't be fooled by this one ahead of the gear stick, because even though it does have a little cubby in there, you're not going to fit much stuff because really it's just a cover for the USB ports.
Yeah, it's tiny, isn't it? A bit misleading. But generally the quality in here is excellent, isn't it? I've been looking around, it's very hard to find anything that isn't really, really well made and put together. The materials are great.
And that is so important for MG because quality of the interior was always a bit of an iffy point with Chinese made cars. But you're right, in here the materials quality is spot on and the build quality, apart from your squeaky seat, does seem pretty good.
What about these switches down here? Very minimalist. There's only a few there. Is it too few? I feel like maybe I'd prefer a few more hotkeys like to the heated seats and stuff like that.
I don't have an issue with it because I love the way that it looks and they have given you some key functions here. Using it though is where I have an issue because there is a huge delay between actually pressing the button and it actually coming up on the screen. For example, let me go to the climate control screen now. I'll push the button now.
Whoa.
There it is. Wow, that is a huge delay. Let me also try raising the volume on the stereo. I'll push the button now.
That is unforgivably slow.
I mean, I'm going to take a couple of seconds to turn it back down because it takes a long time to engage. So that's a bit of an execution fail for me.
What about this lovely feature here with the 360-degree camera and all this lovely animation that happens?
I love the camera. Resolution's really good. I don't love, again, the delay between pushing the button and it actually coming up on the screen. That would be quite stressful.
No, it's fine, because you need something to do while you're waiting for the gearbox to respond.
Oh, right, it's that bad, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of which, let's give it a go.
So the headline figures are actually very impressive. 2-litre engine with lots of power, all-wheel drive, more performance on paper than any of the rivals, but there's an issue.
Yes, hanging off the back of that rather good engine is a not so good gearbox. It's a 6-speed dual clutch automatic.
Which is weird that it's a 6-speed because the 1.5-litre turbo, which is also in the range, comes with a 7-speed dual clutch.
Yes, yeah, but anyway, those are technicalities. In practice, it's really frustrating. At low speeds, it takes an age to change from forward to reverse to forward if you're maneuvering around. There's delay before it actually gives you the full, I don't know if that's turbo lag or a combination with the gearbox, but it's woefully slow to respond.
It's all of the problems that DSG gearboxes had, 5, 6, maybe even 10 years ago. That low speed lagginess, the rolling of the car forward and reverse, trying to do a 3-point turn is very, very frustrating.
It's not particularly snappy or fast when you get up into faster driving like this, and the paddle shifters, they don't do anything.
I'll fix that for you. To use the paddle shifters, you actually have to move the shifter across into the auto mode, which you dum-dum, you didn't figure that out.
All right, now it's working. Okay.
I also have a bit of an issue with the brakes. The low speed calibration of the brake pedal is very grabby. It can take a little bit to get used to. And when you're traveling at speed like this, when you actually push through into the brake pedal, it doesn't give you the rate of response that you would expect.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be far more progressive and a little bit more, making more sense once you get out faster driving like this, but sadly not.
I don't mind the steering. I think the steering, lacks feel as you kind of expect in this segment, but the rate of response and the accuracy is quite impressive.
Yeah, actually that's when we start getting into the stuff I do like about this car. Steering is one of them, although as you say, a little bit light, it actually feels really connected, confidence inspiring. And then we get into the chassis. Now, I was pleasantly surprised by the way this car goes. First of all, there's the ride, which I think is really excellent. It's probably my favorite thing about it. For cruising along roads exactly like this one, it's surprisingly comfortable, a little bit more road noise than I'd like, but generally a real good score there.
Yeah, it's not a boombox at all. The general sense of refinement in here is pretty impressive. And the chassis tuning is probably spot on for this type of vehicle. It's quite soft, so there is quite a lot of body roll, but not many people are going to be pushing this car to 1010s, are they?
No, and that's the key thing here. We have to keep it all into context. Where is this car going to be driven and by who and how? And I feel like roads like this are exactly its environment. Who buys the all-wheel drive though? That's the thing that I question. Like, who is going to need some semblance of all-terrain ability?
It's an interesting one, especially at this price point, which I kind of think is the biggest question mark with this car for me, which is, does it still represent good value at 43 grand?
You'd have to say probably not. Up against the rivals that compete for exactly the same price, you do get a lot more kit, perhaps not so much. This is definitely the leader when it comes to equipment, but in terms of familiarity with a brand and confidence, peace of mind, you do get a 7-year warranty with this, which is a statement of intent by MG. But yeah, at the pointier end, I don't think it makes as much sense.
No, because this car, I think, is a victim of the law of diminishing returns, because the entry-level car for $29,990 drive away gets 95% of the goodies for a big chunk of change less.
So what you're saying is the smart money is less money.
Absolutely.
Now, we've established that this car is perhaps dynamically not as strong as some of its key rivals, but I think I have a solution.
Super Sport button. I've been dying to press it all day.
All right, brace yourself.
I was so hoping that button was going to be like the NOS button in the Fast and the Furious, but
it isn't.
It really isn't.
It doesn't. It changes the graphics in the digital display. It gives a little bit more weight to the steering, possibly, and I think it holds a slightly
higher rev. But
that's it.
That is it.
Not the transformative miracle we were hoping for.
Very small change, unfortunately.
I'm going to stick with normal mode.
So look, there are a few rough edges when you start to push on, but they really only emerge when you are driving the car near its limit, and as you said before, that's not going to be its natural stomping ground, is it?
So what's the verdict on this car then? Is it too much cash?
This particular Essence X, yes, I think it is too much money. I think the true value in this range and where people should shop is at the bottom end, so the $29,990 entry-level model. So there you go. Great work, MG. Pretty convincing mid-size SUV. Just buy at the bottom end of the model range. If you enjoyed this video, you know the drill. Hit subscribe and hit that bell icon because we'll be having 2 new videos every week.
And if you've got a question about the MG family or the HS, or perhaps something about the fundamentals of the universe, then let us know in the comments below.